The flooding has stretched all the way down into New South Wales. Bill Hogan is in Lismore, also on a boat there. Bill, you're on the water. What are you seeing as you duck under power lines? That's how high the water is?
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with at the moment, Larry and Kylie, so excuse me if I keep watching my head. We're just ducking under power lines.
Please do.
We've been generous enough to jump on board to get a fuller grasp of the extent of damage. And you have a look at these multi-storey homes, and this is the Workers' Centre. We were around here for dinner last night, and it just didn't seem possible that it was going to get to this stage. And of course, this is the outcome of the levee bank breaching, and this is, you know, a 14-metre level water, something that they haven't seen in quite some time. And there's debris, there's damage, there's lights, it's all underwater. It's hard to think that we could be going over someone's backyard at the moment. Obviously, we're trying to navigate it around so we don't run into anything below. It's hard knowing what's below, but it certainly is quite a serious operation at the moment. There is lots of tinnies that have been out with lots of people out. So we're heading out to the bridge right now where there's a lot of people that have been stranded and they're being rescued from there. It's the one point that they've been left to be able to stay there because they've had to move from their homes. But a lot of people have been spending hours onto rooftops waiting to be rescued, but it's simply just too tough of a task for the SES crews to do alone. We've had hundreds of volunteers that have come here jumping on board boats to try and help them out as well. Many of them are being brought to shore. When they come to shore, it's just tears of joy, and it's a big relief, and it's a very scary thing for this town. You know, they've obviously been through some floods before, but nothing like this. It's a real sense of panic, and the town is really, really rallying behind each other today.
So the levee has been topped already. Is that what's happened, Bill?
Yeah, that's right, Kylie. So the levee we were told last night that the levee was going to top at around 6 o'clock, but when we went to bed, we got a text message at about 1:45 saying that it was going to top at 3. Mm-hmm. So we had to basically evacuate the town then and there. And it's lucky we did, because within 2 hours we couldn't see the road, so we would have been trapped, which is unfortunately the circumstance for many people that are stuck here now, and this is what the rescue operation is unfolding for.
Oh my God, this is...
Bill, you have plenty of our viewers very anxious about those power lines and that water. We're going to take it for granted that the entire city's power has been cut at this point because it would just be too dangerous otherwise. We spoke to the Bureau of Meteorology before, and they're talking about that heavy rain, slow rain staying over that area yet, and now we see that the levee has topped out. So it is going to be a very, very difficult couple of days ahead.
Oh, absolutely, Larry. I mean, it has been pouring rain, like torrential rain, for at least 16 hours. It hasn't stopped, and with destructive winds yesterday, it's no wonder that the water level is what it is, and it's not stopping. And this is going to take days to weeks to see the full extent of damage here. And this town has really come together, and they're going to work through it, but they say it's going to be hard to come back from. We're just arriving at the bridge now, where a lot of people are waiting to be rescued, and we're going to pick up some people and take them back into shore. Obviously, they've been very keen to get out soon.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're almost out of an incident, but we're just moving a little bit further away so that we can. So, but as you can see from Cameron's pointing, that's where everyone is stationed at the moment. It's like a little hangar that we go and pick them up from, and then we bring them back to shore and to the higher ground.
So, Bill, what we're looking at there, we're looking at people on a bridge. Where are they coming from? Where are they trying to get to? Because the situation that they find themselves in.
Well, those people have come from homes on the south side and east.
Lismore, so they've got boats ferrying people to the other side of the bridge.
Well, actually, you might be able to explain this better. Can you tell us where they're coming from?
There's a whole heap of people with boats on that side, dropping into the bridge. They're walking across the bridge to this side, and we're just ferrying them up to dry land.
Oh my goodness!
And so that's over this side here.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, because over that side, that went down quite early, because they're all towns that reside along. So they went down quite early in the piece. So it's been basically connecting, because where we've been based in the morning crosses is where the higher ground is, and that's where we've been told to go. That's near where the evacuation centre is, and that's where people were informed to go to. So everyone is trying to get to that stage, and that's where these volunteers are jumping on boats and trying to ferry as many people as they can as quickly as possible, because the levels are rising rapidly.
Yeah, and then there's that added danger of all those boats on the waterway, because not many boaties would know how to manage that that water's moving at 6, 7, 8 knots an hour downstream. That's very complicated to keep those smaller boats particularly in line if you're not used to that. So what are your hopes there now, Bill, to pick up a couple of those people off the bridge and just keep moving them around?
Yeah, so we're just going to pick up some people, anyone that's in need. Obviously have been trying to, these people have been trying to prioritise people that need to get to shore as quick as possible, and they are the elderly, they're young kids, they're, you know, old dogs, and there's people that need urgent attention, and we've got quite a lot of, you know, ambulances are coming down to meet them when they arrive, because they're, you know, spending our time in the cold and in the wet for several hours, and you know, some of them can't really swim very well, have been forced to swim to safety to try and get on top of their roof. So it's a lot of people are, I guess, really struggling to, I guess, deal with this in their own way. And when people arrive, they're in shock, they're traumatized, they're very emotional, because it's certainly something that that Lismore has never experienced before. Of course, they've had floods, but they say that this is nothing compared to that.
Look, if we weren't looking at it with our own eyes, Bill, it would be actually hard to even comprehend. I think we're used to seeing floodwaters rise up telegraph poles, etc., and road signs, but to see the roof of a service station eclipsed, to see it right through to the roof of a McDonald's restaurant, this is incredible stuff. We will come back to you very soon. Thanks, Bill. Stay safe.
No worries.
Okay, Bill, we're coming back to you now there in Lismore. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I've got you. How you going?
Yeah, it looks like the rain's still coming down, is it, Bill?
Yeah, it's pouring. It's pouring, Kyle. It's been pouring for, honestly, 16 hours straight, just absolutely torrential, and that's what's obviously contributed to the water that continues to rise. We're actually just here now. This is where a lot of people are waiting to be rescued. There's a lot of people that have been taken from homes, and obviously very exhausted and very keen to get to higher ground as soon as possible.
As you mentioned before, Bill, there's elderly people, there are pets, there are people waiting on that bridge, desperate to get to somewhere safer. We're seeing some incredible scenes there now.
Yes, they are. So we're just wandering further up here now, where there's more people that are waiting. So these are volunteers that have jumped on their own boats, and they're taking more people here. So this is, you know, ankle deep water. So people are just walking crews here. You've got some SES volunteers that are playing through this as well. We've got Polair is circling at the moment as well. I think they're checking out to make sure that there isn't as many people up onto rooftops, and that's actually an RFS helicopter is circling around on. No, it's a life flight. So they're searching properties to see if anything, because obviously you can see it from a water level, but there could be people that are still stuck on homes and warehouses and things like that. So we would just maybe hit something on the way through, but yeah, so this is the bridge where mainly people are going through. So we were able to cross this last night quite freely. In fact, I didn't in my wildest dreams think that this was going to go underwater, but it's incredible to see that it did, because the water was considerably lower than this when we crossed it this morning just to assess the damage. So it's incredible how quickly this water has risen.
So the river's expected to... What is the river level now, Bill, and how much higher is the peak expected to be?
So it's approaching 14 metres, which is more than the 1954 flood level, which is, so this means that this is the biggest flood that Lismore has been through. Sorry? Oh, a tinny's just been, so we've just been alerted there's a tinny's just been flipped over and people have been washed away, so that's going to be a separate rescue in itself. I think we've just got some volunteers that are jumping in to go help them now.
We'll stay with you on that, Bill. As we mentioned before, they seem to have, they've sort of secured themselves, but dangerously, with an electrical wire. So I hope and they're in real trouble out there. That water is moving up to 10 knots, maybe more an hour.
Is that an SES person with them, Bill? We can see something yellow.
I think that's a kayak or a life jacket.
Yeah, I think it's a life jacket. They're all wearing and that's what's very important with all these volunteers, is making sure that everyone is wearing a life jacket. So it seems that they're clinging onto a pole as well. But the SES volunteers are rushing out there now.
And that is a
just calling out for some more help.
Yeah, that's a particularly difficult rescue. We're going to stay with you, Bill. That's a very difficult rescue to effect. My gosh, they're hanging onto power poles. We're taking it for granted at this point that all power has been cut to the city. It would be too dangerous if that wasn't the case.
But you alluded to as far as how fast the water is running and how difficult that is, so that the tinny's tipped.
Right, so there's no one there on that bridge that I saw, Kylie, that can affect that rescue quickly because that water's moving too quickly. So the only guys around probably who could get out there quickly would be those guys we saw earlier on the jet skis. Maybe these guys can.
In the left, in this blue boat.
Yeah,
Bill,
so the SES are coming around now.
Are they SES volunteers in this blue boat?
In their bigger boat that's just coming around now. So so they're just coming around. They're just got to try and get around. It's a tricky spot that they're in with the power poles. But when we came in, there was a car at the bridge. There's lots of debris under here, so it could be a matter that they might have hit something and they might have fallen off. But this is the tricky situation that you've got to deal with, particularly when a lot of people are taking matters into their own hands. It's very all hands on deck, but this is the danger, and we're seeing it unfold right now.
And Bill, at least they have life jackets there and they're able to grab that. We are seeing people get on those volunteer boats around the bridge there without life jackets. There's clearly just not enough to go around, but they're incredibly dangerous situations. We seem to be okay with this one right now.
We'll know very soon.
We've got to be careful with those wires underwater around the props of the engine and all that sort of thing. Great volunteers there.
It's very frantic here. This is where a lot of people are just trying to do the best they can. A lot of people have just grabbed their tinnies to come and provide any service that they can, and this is the risk that they take.
Now,
so they seem to have grabbed one. Of course, the other volunteer has to keep control of the boat.
With all those probably wires under the water. Now, the most difficult bit of any rescue like this is getting that person back over safely while the boat stays stable, and then there's the second person. So
can you imagine how scared and how panicked and then how tired you get trying to hold on when the water's rushing past you at such speed?
So they're in real trouble here. It looks like the person probably hasn't got enough energy to pull themselves up. So we've got the two rescuers trying to get them up over the bow of the boat. Meanwhile, the boat's trying to stay secure in that 10-knot rapids. Very difficult situation for everyone there.
Bill, what else can you see?
Absolutely. Well, I've just seen that there's a few more tinnies that have been pointed towards that direction. I think there's one at the end that's got an SES volunteer. He's going over there. They're waving to try and get more people over there to assist. But the current is particularly strong right now. We've just... one of the boaties that we're with, he just said this is the strongest he's seen it. It's absolutely moving at a pace that it's quite remarkable, actually. So that's going to be the battle now, is to try and get out before this current picks up any further. But there's a few more boats that are coming around here that have come and picked up some more people, and they're just coming around to the side here now. But it seems that they might have a good grip on these people that are stuck in the water.
Well, maybe just to stabilise and just to grab them, make sure they don't go anywhere. They're too tired to pull themselves up. Yeah. They've come around to the back of the boat.
Come around the back where there is a step at the boat. It's a shame that jet ski's not closer. The jet ski that went past before with the sled, that would be a good way to help these people out at the moment. The guy around at the back just trying to find his footing. There'd be a little step near the outboard engine. But the person up the front having all sorts of trouble. Here comes a smaller boat. It's a lower boat. It might be easier to get that patient on board there.
These are ski boats, aren't they? The one on the left is a ski boat.
So at least with that donut, if that
I've
person
seen
can grab
a ski
the
boat's
donut,
just sent out a donut. Yeah. So now there's a donut there, so there's a few more hands on deck.
Gee, it's a real ad hoc. Everyone throwing everything at it that they've got. But you can see even that man at the back, he's so puffed after that, struggling in that water for so long, he can't even get up on the back step.
And Bill, the person at the front, is that a woman or a man? Can you tell from where you are?
I can't see from here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it out before, but I do remember passing that boat, and I know that there was an older man at the back. I'm unsure if that's a woman at the front, but this is a mix of people that we've got. You know, like it's hard to think that in these crazy circumstances that that there's children involved in this. This is this nature of this situation at the moment. Everyone is scrambling at their best efforts to try and get to the high land, and they're filling out boats and they're trying to move as quickly as possible. Yeah. And this is the risk that you take, and this is.
Now, let me tell you, the other real danger here, and we saw it with that huge houseboat on the Brisbane River earlier, once this water starts to move like that, any craft that's caught up against a structure can just tip up very easily. So now we've got this flotilla of boats all sort of jammed together. If one of them gets caught in that, we're in for all sorts of trouble again. Hopefully they can get that person at least in that donut and get them out of trouble. The guy at the back you can see just hanging on
Still
near the
hanging
outboard
on.
engine just doesn't have enough strength to get up. There's enough people around there now. Maybe they need to think about getting them out of that fast water, at least, even if it's across on the donut piles, and just drag them 50 metres to the left or the right out of the main stream there. Because you can see he's just got nothing left here.
Very difficult decisions to make in real time.
No, impossible. And these are normal boaties to go out in the river and go fishing or go skiing.
Yeah.
So this is a very specialised kind of rescue environment.
Oh, it looks like that person is in on the
On the
front, on the
lower
blue
boat.
boat, at the front, and the ski boat. They've successfully
Yes,
pulled the person in.
laying down at the back of the boat at this
Yeah.
point. That's good. They need to get out of that water, fast-moving water,
You
quickly.
can see the leg over the side of the boat.
And that person would be in all sorts of trouble. That has been a good 10-minute struggle there. With the
So scared. You'd be so scared,
and you would be
tired and
absolutely
scared.
exhausted. So hopefully, Bill, are there ambulances on the bridge there?
There are ambulances waiting at the point where everybody is meeting at the high ground where we were earlier before. They're on station for situations like this. It seems that everyone is on board by the sounds of what I'm hearing.
The original boat, which had the man at the back, he's now gone from one boat to now to this second boat. He's hanging on to the front of the boat and doing, as you said, Larry, trying to get into some slightly calmer water. Look at him hanging on.
That is an incredibly dangerous manoeuvre. Just shows you the desperation to try and get out of that hot zone right now. But that's as dangerous as it gets, somebody hanging onto the front of an outboard engine boat.
You know the phrase hanging on for dear life?
Yeah.
That's it, right there.
All right, we're hoping that there are plenty of ambulance and paramedics on scene there, because both of those people are going to need a heck of a lot of attention right now.
Is it in?
Elderly couple here might do this.
There he is. We can
he's
see
on his
him.
feet. He's got an arm.
Thank goodness. Yeah, they're wading out to him. The man in the yellow life jacket looks like he's wading out to him to give him a hand to pull him back around.
All right.
These are dramatic scenes.
Wow.
Larry and Carly, we're just backing up here. We're just going to there's an old couple that's just been waiting here for us to give them a lift. We're just going to help them get on
Oh,
board.
please, Bill,
We might just do
that.
now. How are you guys? You
We see a
okay?
thumbs up. It's a thumbs up. That's
Are you
what we
okay?
like to see.
Yeah. Let's get you on board. Do you need a hand? How are you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll stabilise it first.
Yeah. Let's get it.
So it looks like all good with the rescue of the two people in the river.
Yeah.
Real good.
Yeah, and that could have gone either way, Carly. Though I guess the day you think you'd be floating down a river and having to grab onto a power line to save your life, but real heroics from everyone involved there. And not many people there, Carly, would have known what to do in that circumstance. No one. So it was just all hands on deck, everyone doing their best. Bill, what's
That's okay.
You're helping some
Put
people
that
out
in.
there, Bill?
There you go. No, you're okay.
Yeah, lady, can I give it a
Sorry, Larry.
Oh,
I'm
look,
just
he's got
helping.
it.
What's your
No,
name,
you're
mate?
John?
Hello, John. I'm just helping you on. How you going? I'll pitch you up, mate.
You can put the mic down, Bill.
Yeah.
Right up in both here, mate, so I don't know how we're going to go here.
Bum first, sit down, put his bum on the rail, and then spin around, Bill.
Bum up first and then put your legs around. That's the best way. Turn around, get your bum on the side there, and then we'll try and get your legs.
And grab his back, Bill, and spin him around. There you go.
Oh, that's all right,
I got you, mate.
Keep going around.
Keep going.
Someone grab his leg, maybe.
There's your leg.
That's it.
There you go.
Good stuff.
There you go.
And you're safe.
Not too bad for 86 year old.
Beautiful. So you're 86, mate.
86
Mate, tell us how your day's been.
Oh, no, I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh, it's fair enough, mate. It's good. You're feeling good to be back on a boat. I guess we're going to go into safety now.
Yeah, it's good to see some rain, though.
Absolutely, mate.
So-
Don't complain about the rain.
So, Bill, congratulations to you and the team for getting them on board. But where have they come from? They just walked across the bridge there in that water?
I think so. Whereabouts are you guys based? Are you just further down this way?
They live in Phillip Street, just straight across there, near the service station, across from the railway station.
Okay.
They've only been there a short time, 56 years in the one house.
56
Yeah.
years, you're kidding.
No.
Oh my goodness. So you've seen a few floods. How does this
Oh, however, the old homestead was just there. I would have went through probably 5 or 6 or more there.
Yeah.
And, oh, we grumble and groan. We're going to get out of the place, and probably after the second week, you're not too bad, and then after a month, oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And run us through your morning. So were you just waiting at your house, or did you walk here to the bridge, or?
No, we're waiting at the house. We've been there for since 9 o'clock. But these fellas are too busy. They do a wonderful job. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's remarkable to see everyone, pitching in, and all the locals coming out with tinnies and helping people like yourself.
See, I got arthritis in both hips, and I just can't. But never mind. No grumbling.
You're very resilient. You're quite upbeat about this.
Oh well. There's always someone worse off, mate, isn't there?
That's it.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, mate, we're going to get you to the higher ground. We've been there. There's ambulance and everybody's. It's far better in situation, so we'll get you there pretty soon, and then you can have a go and relax.
You're worth more money, mate. Who do I see about that? If you want 100, I'll go for 5. And if you can't have 5, we'll give you 100.
Oh goodness.
You just sounds like you just got a new manager for your next negotiation there, Bill.
Yeah, I do. I think it might come. Mate, do you want to come to Sydney with me?
Bless him. 86 years old.
It's one thing. Yeah, so you go.
No, that's okay. He's 86 years old and he's looking after you, trying to get you a pay rise. Bill's telling you you're worth more money. Arthritis in both his hips. And look, honestly, then saying there are people worse off than us. Everyone else was a bit busy. We're right here. We'll be okay. Everyone else is busy.
No
Honestly,
grumbling.
yeah.
No grumbling. Hashtag Australia. All right, Bill, where are you going to take them now? They deserve a really nice cup of tea and a biscuit. Where are you going to take them?
Oh, they absolutely do. Well, I think we're going to, there's a few more boats that are coming through now, so we're going to wait for a bit of a clearance to get out of the bridge area, and then we're going to head back to where we were based earlier before, which is just in the higher roads, and then further up in the higher roads is where the evacuation centre is, and that has a cup of tea and a biscuit with your name written all over it, I'd say.
Cup of tea sounds good. Hey, Bill, the situation with your boat, is that just a local who's ferrying you around? Who's driving this boat that you're on, and what's the situation with that?
Well, at the moment, he's actually out helping. He's just up there right now trying to direct traffic, but it's just his boat. He's lived here for quite some time and just wanted to come and pitch in. So he's with his mate here. I think they're keen fishermen, judging by the setup.
Right.
And today that they're just trying to pay their fare. So we've got families coming here. If you can see behind me, this is the scene where you've got families and pets and pillows and all the belongings, and they're very emotional, they're very upset. This is something that they didn't want to, no one wants to go through, but this is something that they've woken up to unexpectedly, and now they're trying to come to terms with. So they're now waiting here, and these are the people that are coming waiting for boats. So there's a boat here waiting for them, and they'll jump on board that, and then they'll head into shore, and then they can be the evacuation centre, and that's where all the help will be for them.
And Bill, we have to ask our viewers to consider this for just a moment. These people are walking across that bridge having left their houses behind with one garbage bag. Imagine yourself in that situation where you have to pack up your life and put your life and your house in one single garbage bag. It would be incredible.
No, it's traumatising, to be honest, Larry. And it's very raw seeing how sad this is and putting yourself in their shoes. I can't comprehend what these people are doing, and it's really, really sad to see. And no one wants to go through this, and this is something that they're going to be traumatised with forever. This is going to be a recovery that's going to take months, even years to go through. So this is similar scenes right across the board at the moment, but.
And these are young children.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking.
Looking at the little boy, he's probably about 5 or 6. Little girl looks about 3. Can you imagine how scared they are? Pets, family
they look
pet.
scared,
Look at
and they're just
still in nappies.
Yeah, they're just. I think they're just so focused in trying to get to the higher ground as quickly as possible. A lot of people have been like this. But you know, for young children, this is just a traumatising experience. Well, it is one for everyone, but you know, they're so cold and shaken, and a lot of them would probably be fearing that, you know, it could have been a lot worse. Like the water is rising at such a rapid rate. It's just great that these volunteers are here to, you know, help them out, because it'd be a lot harder of a situation if they couldn't, because obviously there's no helicopters flying today, so no one can be rescued from the air.
Yeah.
So it certainly is a heavy reliance on these volunteers.
Bill, it is an incredible effort to see all those boats queued up, ready to go. Is anyone there coordinating it? Any police or rescue or SES saying you're next, you go to that boat, or is it really just everyone going for it?
Not really. No, there are SES crews. I'd say there's not as many yet. Police have arrived, so they've got a bit of a setup where we were before, just at the base camp. But no one's really coordinating this. It's really taken it upon themselves. I think there's a lot of locals they don't know the area. Well, they do know the area, but they don't know under the floodwaters. But they're just coordinating it on themselves. These people are, you know, skippers. They've got boats. They know what they're doing, but it's certainly not patrolled or anything by the SES.
Right.
They're out here as well doing their part. Police are here as well. The Army have arrived a short time ago, so I'm sure they're going to be assisting from the shores. But there certainly needs to be more resources, because a lot of this reliance is on the people here to try and help other people, and that's where, you know, if this wasn't the case, it would be certainly a different story.
And Bill, that water's coming up just as we've been speaking to you. The water continues to rise. If those people were to head in the opposite direction, not coming towards you, but in the opposite direction, what's up the other way? Is there more help the other way, or?
Well, I mean, if you see the sign, Casino is to the left, Kyogle is underwater
Okay,
too, so
right.
I don't think they'll be going further that way. But is there further higher ground up further that way, mate?
Oh, if we head out of town, there are a few places we can get higher, like out to the mill up Leicester.
Yeah, okay.
That
So
way.
how high would you have to go?
Oh, it's only just, if you just cut across town, then start to head towards Kyogle. There's the mill and stuff up there, and there's mountains up there, so you can get up there all right.
Many people going up that way?
Oh, I'd say if they couldn't get this way, they'd have to go that way to get high ground, for sure. Yeah.
Would they be cut off if they went up that way?
Yeah, because probably further along Bentley away, they'd probably be stuck and couldn't get through in a few spots as other creek crossings. So they'd be stuck in that spot until they can get out of
Amazing
there.
to think that they've been left with the situations, the choices they've been forced to make.
Nothing like when we came and got you guys and came here, the bridge was dry.
That's,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So this is in the period that you came and got us and came back.
In the last hour, that's come up 400-500 mil, easy.
Well, that's just in us talking, Larry and Kylie, and this is the damage you can see quite clearly.
Yeah, I can tell, Bill. I can tell.
Bill, you just
What are you gonna do?
your skipper there just helped load the young family onto the other boat. Can you just ask him how they're well, we can only imagine how they're feeling, but what was their story? Did he get anything from them on the other boat there?
Wait, can you tell us how the young family are going?
Yeah, they're going all right. They're a bit scared, like a lot of people at the moment. Yeah, they're going all right. They're just waiting for their grandparents to come along now. Yeah, it's a bit sketchy at the moment. The water's come up a lot just in the last half hour or so.
Do you think because of how high it's coming up that maybe these rescues might need to be kind of reworked?
I think somebody needs to coordinate them. It's I said to the guys, don't send any more tinnies. That current's too strong. And as you saw before, that tinny just went straight over. So so if anybody's watching up that end, don't send any small boats. It's causing a bit of grief. So
the danger is certainly real at the moment. When you see young families and the elderly coming on, obviously there's an even greater risk.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, this is the situation now. Obviously, more people are still coming in. But as the river's rising, obviously we've got some
Look at
people that are being carried to boats that are trying to.
Look at this poor lady coming in.
And that was their mother, the grandmother they were waiting for, Bill. So
that's the grandmother. So she's coming, and this I'm assuming would be the grandfather. And you can just see how deflated and how exhausted he is.
Yeah.
This is something that's taken such a toll on so many people, and this is. He's certainly in need of assistance.
But as we look at these scenes, we've got to thank goodness they're out of harm's way at this point, and and pretty soon they'll be somewhere warm and dry, so we can hope for that. And it's at least they're reunited and they've got what's important to them.
Bill, realistically, I mean, do you need to get going? How much longer can you stay? You have those people on board. Is there room for more people on board? Because I think you need
I'm just mindful of this lovely couple that I think need a cup of tea and a nice cold blanket on. So yeah, I think we'll probably start heading back in that direction. Would you say, guys? And so we can get these guys back to shore.
Yeah, we don't want you to be still there in a situation that's not safe.
Yeah.
Water rising so quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So I think we might just assess with the skipper now whether
I think you need to have that conversation.
I think because okay.
Have that conversation, please.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
All right, Bill. Well, that was a very, very dramatic 15 or 20 minutes there with Bill. We were front row to a rescue that could have gone either way as the rescuers had to be rescued. And the dangers of those rapid waters with those tinnies, and the tinnies overloaded. So what the skippers inherently want to do is bring your family, bring your pets, but all of a sudden those small boats find themselves in waters they should not be in. Limited life jackets around, obviously, so we just wish everybody the best, but you must keep calm heads around those fast waters.
You are watching a special edition of The Morning Show. Our coverage will continue of this flood emergency. Back with more.
First at 4, good afternoon. We begin with the unfolding flood crisis in New South Wales and Queensland. As we go to air, houses are underwater, towns have been isolated and residents forced to leave their homes. These pictures into the newsroom from a helicopter that has flown over Lismore. You can see here water has inundated houses. The city facing its worst ever flood disaster. On the ground, these are the scenes playing out. This was Lismore this morning, our 7 News team there, as people were being rescued from rising waters.
There's a tinny's just been flipped over and people are being washed away. The SES volunteers are rushing out there now. They're just calling out for some more help. It's very frantic here.
The voice you just heard there was our reporter Bill Hogan, and he joins us now from Lismore. Bill, incredible scenes where you are. Do you know how those people are doing?
Well, Ange, I'm pleased to say that the 4 people that were involved in that incident were all okay when they made it on board. I understand that the elderly man was checked over by paramedics, but all 4 of them were able to make it ashore. But it just shows how delicate these operations are. I was speaking to the SES after they saw that coverage. They contacted me and told me that apparently 470 rescues or 470 people at the evacuation centre were rescued by these boats. So it's been an incredible operation. They did want me to issue a stern warning to those people that are going out, though, is to wear a personal flotation device and make sure that you're wearing it at all times so that we can ensure that it is, not a dangerous operation each time that goes, because at the end of the day, life jackets did play a big role in that, as well as the Good Samaritans that were there at the time. Now, in part of that operation, we also got to meet John and his wife. They had been walking and leaving their home of 56 years. They've been through many, many floods here in Lismore, but they say that this one has to be one of the biggest ones. And rescuing them today, they were just overjoyed to be able to get to dry land.
We're waiting at the house. We've been there since 9 o'clock. But these fellas were too busy. They do a wonderful job.
You're very resilient. You're quite upbeat about this.
Oh, well, there's always someone worse off, mate, isn't there?
Just incredible, and good work to you too. What is the situation in Lismore? Have water levels peaked?
Well, Edge, water levels are currently steady at 4.17 metres, which is the highest that we've seen today. This is essentially the situation. There's still plenty of boats going to and from. The rescue operations are still well underway. The rain hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped all day, so the water level continues to rise. We've got Black Hawks circling around at the moment. The Defence Force is doing everything they can. They are doing aerial pickups for people that are still stranded on the water, but this is certainly an operation that will continue well into the night as the water levels continue to rise. It's expected that it will start to steady around that 14.17 metre mark, which is I guess a level that we haven't seen since well before the 1950 floods. So it's certainly a very, very, very incredible day for everybody that has worked very hard to try and keep people back onto dry dry land, all the people that have been stranded for quite some time, the effort that the community has gone to try and help them today. It's just hope that, I guess, we can get more people here so that it doesn't go well into the night. Ange?
The rivers are still rising and probably will rise until later this afternoon. So what may not be cut off at the moment may still be cut off. So if it's not an emergency to drive and go somewhere and it's safe to remain at home, please do so.
I think officials still concerned that there are people who still need rescuing. Bill Hogan in Lismore, thank you.
Also in Lismore, 7's Bill Hogan, who's been on the go since the early hours of this morning and has been caught up in some astonishing flood rescues. Bill, you've witnessed extraordinary scenes.
Yeah, we certainly have, Mark. We were evacuated from our motel this morning around 2 a.m. when news had broken that the levee bank was about to breach. From daybreak, we were keen to see the extent of the floodwaters, so my cameraman Henry Lynch and I hitched a ride with a rescue boat with a plan to go and pick up some people stranded on the Elliots Road bridge over the Wilsons River. But it was there the unexpected happened. Ours was among a flotilla of small craft heading east, somewhere over the Bruxner Highway. That was a low one.
Going live to 7's morning show, ducking power lines.
That's what we're dealing with at the moment, Larry and Kylie, so excuse me if I keep watching my head.
The Wilsons River at 14 metres, up ahead a bridge just above water. Dozens eager to be taken off.
We're just arriving at the bridge now where a lot of people are waiting to be rescued.
A traffic jam of volunteers. Then off to one side, an emergency. Rescuers needing rescue.
We're just being alerted there's a tinny's just been flipped over and people have been washed away.
2 people struggling to stay afloat.
And they're in real trouble out there. That water is moving up to 10 knots, maybe more.
Clinging desperately to power lines, thankfully not live.
We're going to stay with you, Bill. It's a very difficult rescue to effect.
The SES volunteers are rushing out there now. They're just calling out for some more help. This is the danger and we're seeing it unfold right now.
But those in the water too exhausted to clamber aboard.
They're in real trouble here. It looks like the person probably hasn't got enough energy to pull themselves up.
A ski boat bringing an inflatable tube.
There's a donut there, so there's a few more hands on deck.
But the pair still in real danger of drowning.
Just doesn't have enough strength to get up. As you can see, he's just got nothing left here.
After 10 minutes, one is dragged into the ski boat.
So scared. So scared.
The other man clutching the bow of another boat.
That's as dangerous as it gets, somebody hanging onto the front of an outboard engine boat.
Finally delivered safely.
Real heroics from everyone involved there.
Our mission, this elderly couple, cold, wet, exhausted.
Let's get you on board.
His wife made it. 86-year-old John struggling with arthritic hips.
There's your leg.
That's it.
There you go.
Forced to abandon their home 56 years, but happy to have hitched a ride.
It's worth more money, mate.
Yeah.
What do I say about that?
Mate, do you want to come to Sydney with me?
The real heroes, people like our skippers, boaties and fishermen risking their lives.
As you saw before, that tinny just went straight over.
The conditions too dangerous for small boats.
There certainly needs to be more resources because a lot of this reliance is on the people here to try and help other people, and that's where, you know, if this wasn't the case, it would be certainly a different story.
And as we saw, a story almost with a tragic ending. In Lismore, Bill Hogan, 7 News.